Before I start, before I start, kinds of rights today. Uh, yeah, here it is. Kinds of rights. You see this before. In which kind of right we have most democratic countries today bring up drawing up the character of political rights. So kind of right में political right ऊपर है, right? I'm sorry. Political rights. Political rights give to the citizens the right of equally before law and right to participate in the political process. Right to participate in political process. They include such rights as the right to vote and elect representatives. Now, you know the political rights. Political right में एक word है universal adult franchise UAF. I told you many times earlier also. तो इसमें क्या होता है कि आप अपने गवर्नमेंट को खुद चुनते हैं. It is not a simple right. Let me tell you one thing. For the many centuries, French Revolution, I told you, the other revolutionaries, they fought for the political rights. They fought for the votes that they should be also have the right of for vote. You know, South Africa, even Nelson Mandela, I told you earlier, many things. So the right to contest election also there, right to fight, right to contest election is there, right to vote and right to contest elections. So the right to form political parties, these are the political rights. Now, how there could be a question for the final examination. Explain political rights. How many kinds are there? First of all, you will have that the right to equality before the law. This is the first point. Mark up first point over here. That right to equality before the law and right to participate in the political process. There's a second political right to participate in the political process. They include such right as a right to vote. This is the third part of the same criteria, right to vote. Just I told you, universal adult franchise, right? And elect representatives. This is the fourth point. I am giving you point wise answer of the question. So you have to write point wise answers in your final examination. Reply should be in point wise. Otherwise, your marks will be deducted. So, and elect representative, the right to contest elections. This is again a right. Right. If you are able to give the vote, it's your right. So, right to contest elections are also your right. The right to form political parties, BJP, that's Congress, CPI, CPM, Trinamool, Akali Dal, Janata Dal, these all are political parties. You have all the right to form a political party. You have all the right to, fight the, contest election. You have all the right to, as for the under the universal adult franchise, then you will be the adult. You can choose your cast your vote, right? So these are the political rights. Then form political party and to join them also. Any political party you can join them. Political rights are supplemented by civil liberties. आपके कुछ अधिकार हैं, civil liberties, right? Political their rights are supplemented by civil liberties. Then the letter refers to the right to a free and fair trial. Free and fair trial. जो दोषी हैं उनका फ्री और फेयर ट्रायल होना चाहिए. न्याय जो है, आप suppose you go any court, Supreme Court, High Court, you will find a lady is there on her eyes one black dupatta is tightened. On one hand there is a sword, and on the one hand is a scale. Means वो तोलेगी and she will give the justice. राइट. सो शी इज ब्लाइंडफोल्ड, उसको कुछ दिखता नहीं है, न्याय करेगी और उसका आंसर देगी. सो फ्री एंड फेयर ट्रायल फॉर एवरीवन, द राइट टू एक्सप्रेस वन व्यूज फ्रीली, ये सब आपके राइट्स हैं विच आई एम टेलिंग यू. These are all your rights in a democratic country. Let me tell you one thing. That's why democratic countries are one of the best countries of the world. They give you the basic rights to their citizens. We have got the fundamental rights, and fundamental rights, they are the maximum rights we have got. Under the fundamental rights, we have got the maximum rights. Right. So free and fair elections are there, and free and fair trials are there, right? And right to express one's views freely. आप कुछ view, कोई भी view, but it should be, if you want to abuse someone, you can abuse. No, it's not like that. Under the constitution, in a civil manner, with a civil manner, right? You can put your expression. You are satisfied with the government, yes, you can satisfy. And in the democracy, Supreme Court says your strikes are also valid. You can demonstrate. In democracy, you can demonstrate against the government, against the government decisions. Now see what is happening, now these days, lot of people are not happy with some decisions of central government, right? So they put the expression for or against. You are free, right to freely. So express one's views freely. The right to protest and express dissent. अभी जो किसान आंदोलन हो रहा है, right? Many people are for. ये बिल्कुल सही आंदोलन हो रहा है. Many people, many organizations, they are against. Okay, you are free to ask. You are free to ask a question from the government. You can free to protest for or against. The right to protest and express dissent, right? So collectively, I said collectively, civil liberties and political rights form the basic of democratic system of the government. Here, civil and liberties and political rights form the basics of democratic system of the government. If you are living in a democratic setup, rights must be there. Rights are there. अधिकार आपके हैं. फंडामेंटल अधिकार आपको गवर्नमेंट देती है. राइट टू एक्सप्रेशन इज योर फंडामेंटल राइट. राइट टू एजुकेशन इज अ फंडामेंटल राइट. राइट टू लाइवलीहुड इज अ फंडामेंटल राइट. सो फंडामेंटल राइट आपको दिया जाता है. नो वन कैन स्नैच योर फंडामेंटल राइट. But as was mentioned before, rights aim to protect the well-being of the individual. Why are the rights? What are the rights? They are basically well-being, and they are protect. They used to contribute. They used to protect the well-being of the individual. हर एक इंसानों की भलाई के लिए राइट्स दिए गए. हर एक इंसान की भलाई के लिए. Before the law, before the constitution, everyone is equal. Everyone is having fundamental rights. So these rights are well-being for the human being, individual. Political rights contribute to it by making the government accountable. What is these? Every word of this sentence, every word of the sentence is very important. Basically, political rights contribute to it by making the government accountable. देखिए, गवर्नमेंट कोई भी डिसीजन लेती है, दे आर अकाउंटेबल टू द पीपल, दे आर अकाउंटेबल टू द सिटीजन, राइट? अकाउंटेबल टू द पीपल, अकाउंटेबल टू द सिटीजन, कि आपको ये अधिकार दिए गए, राइट? और इन अधिकारों के अंदर आपके ये अधिकार है. Suppose those rights are not accepted, then government is accountable. Those rights are said it will be provided to the citizen, but it's not going to provide. They are not giving the government is not giving you the rights as they promised. But then they are accountable before us, before the common man, before the citizen, accountable to the people by giving greater importance to the concerns of the individual over the rulers. You know, here rulers are not important in democratic setup. Very important sentence, very interesting sentence. We choose our rulers. Let me tell you one thing. Who have the importance then? Who is having the most importance? We the people of India. It is read in it is the first step of the first sentence in the constitution. We are the people of India. हम भारत के लोग इस संविधान को अपना सर्वस्व देते हैं. हम देते हैं. Means we the people of India. Means people are important. Here the rulers are not important because it's a democratic country. After 5 years, rulers has to be changed. Rulers change कर दिए जाएंगे. कौन चेंज करेगा? लोग चेंज करेंगे. रूलर्स अपने आप नहीं चेंज हो जाएंगे. Suppose a government is very good for some people. For some people, a government is worse. Then what will happen? There are division of the opinion. Worse or the best. So who will decide? The people will decide. When the general election will be there. When the general election will be there, through the counting of vote, you can decide who is the winner. Who is the winner? That means the people accepted him. Right. So by giving greater importance, here the importance of whom? Importance of people to the concern of the individual over the rulers, and by ensuring that all persons have an opportunity to influence the decisions of the government. You know, आप आप भी आप influence कर सकते हो government को. If you have got certain rule and regulation, certain rule and regulation, you can publish your views. If the government think it's acceptable. You know, Modi says monkey baat. What do you mean by this? A ruler is coming to you. Whatever in his heart, he tells about it. There are a lot of things, lot of people, they are against this government. There are a lot of people, they are for the government. Who are the winner then? People are the winner. Okay, next paragraph. However, here, however, our rights of political participation can only be exercised fully when our basic needs, food, shelter, clothing, health, are met. I told you that we have got three basic things as a right: roti, kapra, and makan. Food, shelter, clothing, and health. These four things are basic. ये पहले है. पॉलिटिकल राइट में क्या है? आपको किसी नेता को चुनने का अधिकार, राइट, किसी गवर्नमेंट को चुनने का अधिकार, वो आपके पॉलिटिकल राइट्स है, राइट. सपोज you are and your basic rights are not being fulfilled, then what you will do with your political right? It's written over here. Listen with the paragraph and go down with the paragraph. However, our rights of political participation can only be exercised fully when our basic needs of food, shelter, clothing, health are met. For a person living on the pavements, pavements means जहाँ पे लोग चलते हैं, पथ, चलने वाला पथ, पथ के ऊपर चलने वाला, जो ना लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में एक रैक बना होता है, उसके ऊपर लोग पेमेंट जो चलते, पैदल चलने वाले लोग, पेमेंट. बहुत से लोगों को आपने वहां पे सोते हुए देखा होगा रात को. दे आर स्लीपिंग ओवर देयर, दे आर हंग्री ओवर देयर. If you ask them, no, today is 26th of January, what is happening? You shouldn't be ready to get the answer from him. या उसको भूख लगी है, उसके पास शेल्टर नहीं है, उसके पास कपड़े नहीं है, तुम उससे पूछ रहे हो कि 26 जनवरी को क्या हुआ? मीन्स उसकी बेसिक नीड्स पूरी नहीं हुई। उसे पॉलिटिकल डे से, पॉलिटिकल लोगों से कोई मतलब नहीं है। इट मीन्स for a person living on the payments and struggling to meet the basic needs, political rights by themselves have little value. They have little value, but they have no value at all. जिसके बेसिक नीड्स पूरी नहीं हुई, उनके लिए कोई वैल्यू नहीं है उसके पास। They require, just give me 1 second. However, a right of political participation can only be exercised fully on a basic needs of food, shelter, and clothing. Health are met for a person. I told you who are struggling with for the meet their basic needs, right? Political rights themselves have little value. They require certain facilities like an adequate wage to meet their basic needs, right? Here it is. Basic needs and reasonable conditions of work. Hence, democratic societies are being recognized these obligations and providing economic rights to them. Now, here you have got the economic rights. Democratic societies give you economic rights also. You have the right to, get the job according to your need, according to your qualification. According to your qualification, you can ask for the job, right? So, recognize these obligations and providing economic rights. In some countries, citizens, particularly those with low income, receive housing and medical facilities. In India also, unemployment uh, unemployment schemes are there. The person who are unemployed, they get the loan from the bank. They can start their own uh, small business and all. Government help them. Other facilities are also there because the person is unemployed and he has to meet his ends, basic needs. So there are many governments in some countries, citizens, particularly those with low income, they used to receive housing and medical facilities from the state. In others, unemployed person receive a certain minimum wage so that they can meet their basic needs. उनको अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट भत्ता मिलता है. From that particular amount, they can use for their basic needs. Right. So in India, the government has an unemployment allowances are there. Unemployment allowances are there. In England, a person used to get a unemployment allowance so much so that he can make his basic needs very easily. Unemployment allowance. India also provides unemployment allowance. Even America is also providing unemployment allowances. Many other countries, even European countries and other Arabian countries also, they provide unemployment allowance. So in India, the government has also recently introduced a rural employment guarantee scheme. Manrega. Manrega is there, where the person is from the village part. He can go for the work, and the government will give him the job guarantee card. right? Like this. Among other measures to help the poor, there are many other measures to help the poor. Here, you can find it basically in a democratic society. You can find it in a democratic society only, where the people and the government, they are very close to each other, because here are not the fixed rulers. Here, the people are the mandate. They are the first priority. Rulers keep changing. They keep changing, and after 5 years, there are elections. So if the rulers they rulers also know that they will be changed if they don't do the best job. So political rights are also there. Your economic rights are also there. Your as a right, your free of expression is also there. Right. Lot of personal rights are there. Right. So these are the aspects. Today, in addition, here it is. Today, in addition to political and economic rights, more and more democracies are recognizing the cultural claims of the citizen. Here we have got the cultural rights also. Your culture, you will you. This is your basic cultural rights. Nobody is allowed to hamper your culture. For example, if you want to study, if you want to go ahead with your mother tongue because you are comfortable with it, if I ask you, speak English and speak your Haryanvi language, in which part you will be comfortable? I think, if I'm not wrong, you will be very much good in Haryanvi language because that is your mother tongue, right? So if somebody goes to Kolkata or somebody goes to Chennai, right? You ask them, they will say that English and the Tamil or Malayali or Kannada, or from Punjab state Punjabi, here in Haryana Hindi, their mother tongue is much comfortable for them, rather if you compare with English. Right. So that is culture. Here your Dashara, Diwali are very much there. In South, you go for Pongal. In West Bengal, Durga Puja. Right. So in Punjab, Baisakhi. So they have their own culture. Everyone is having his own culture, his own identity, and no one is allowed to hamper the identity of others. No, they cannot do it. They cannot do it. They are not allowed, rather, to be do it. So these are the cultural rights. Claims of citizens: the right to have primary education, just I told you, in one's mother tongue. I told you just now. This is a right that you go for the mother tongue education. The right to establish an institution for teaching one's language and culture are today recognized as being necessary for the leading a good life. You are very much, basically, you are very much close to your culture. You are very, you are close to your culture because you are born with the culture as according to from your parents. Right? Parents give you the culture. Slow and steadily, you are accommodated in that particular culture and you are comfortable in that particular culture. So no one can deny that comfortable from you. The list of rights has thus steadily increased democracy in democracy. No, list of rights are increasing day by day, but it's ironic that duties are not been increasing. Only rights are increasing. Right. So it's a my personal view. Right. While some rights, primarily the right to life, liberty, equal treatment. The point number one, just write down. Or I'm not I'm unable to watch you, but let me tell you one thing. Please listen to my instruction very carefully. Whenever you open your book, you should have your pen and pencil along with you. right? Whenever the important things are coming, I'm telling you to, you know, basically write down or underline it. You should underline that particular thing. Equal treatment. While some rights primarily right to life, number one, liberty, number two, equal treatment, number three, and the right to political participation, number four. These are the basic rights. Now the question is, list the basic rights and explain them. It could be a question for you. List the basic rights and explain them. What the basic rights are? Your right to life, and under the right to life is the three categories are there: roti, kapra, and makan. Your food, your clothing, your shelter. Right? These are the basic right. Right? Number one, इस basic right के अंदर ये तीन category आ जाती है. Then right to life हो गया. Then liberty, आपकी आजादी. आजादी, free to express, free to expression, free to expression is your basic liberty. You want to express something, for example, against the government or for the government. Yes, you can do it. An individual also, or for the political leaders also. Right? So equal treatment. Treatment should be equal. Right? Equal treatment and the right to political participation. You want to go for the election campaign, you can go. You want to fight election context in election, you can go for that also. You can choose anyone, universal franchise. So, right to political participant are the seen the basic right that must be received priority. These are your priorities. Other conditions, other conditions that are necessary for leading a decent life are being recognized as justified claims as rights. Right. So these are the basic rights. So rights to responsibility. Here it is. 5.5, rights to responsibility. Rights not only place obligation upon the state to act in a certain way, for instance, to ensure sustainable development, but they also place obligation upon each of us. Firstly, firstly, they compel us to think not just of our own personal needs and interests, but to defend something as being good for all of us. Protecting the ozone layer, minimizing the air water pollution, maintaining the green cover by the planting new trees and the preventing cutting down of forests, maintaining the ecological balance, are these are the essential for all of us. You know, right and responsibility. आपका कर्तव्य, अधिकार और कर्तव्य, ये साथ साथ चलते हैं. लेट मी टेल यू वन थिंग. Rights and duties, this should be, it's a parallel to each other. You cannot ask rights without your duties. You cannot ask your rights without your duties. And when the duties are there, you are responsible. You are responsible, and you are uh, ready to have your rights. You can demand your rights because you have done your duty. Now, rights not only place obligation upon the state to act in a certain way, for instance, to ensure sustainable development. You know what do you mean by sustainable development? Your development should be there. There should be development. There 100% development should be there. But you cannot destroy the nature. No, you cannot destroy the nature. Nature has its own value. Development should be there. Without harming the nature, if you when you are developing, that is called sustainable. नेचर को सस्टेन करते हुए डेवलप करना, उसे कहते हैं सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट. right? So firstly they compel, और we जो है they used to compel us. ये जो obligation है क्या compel करती है कि think not just for our own personal needs, सिर्फ अपने लिए मत सोचो. As a free citizen of India, you are free to think. Yes, you are free to think, but only you think for yourself only. You are not thinking for the society. It's a selfish in nature. Selfish nature कहा जाता है इसको, कि हम दूसरों के बारे में मत ना सोचें. Right? If you are having, as for in your school, suppose you are having water from the tap. You open the tap and you left the place. Pani is, the water is just flowing from the tap. You have quenched your thirst, but for the other people you're not thinking. It's a bad thing, you know. You should think as a human being. You should think for others also. You have got this. They have also the same right as you are thinking for yourself. If everyone thinking for himself or herself, not for the others, then everything will be very much selfish in nature, right? So we should not think about your personal needs only, but to defend something that is good for all of us. उस चीज को एक्सेप्ट कीजिए जो सबके लिए अच्छा है, right? That is good for us. Protecting the ozone layer. ओजोन एक लेयर होता है बेसिकली, ज्योग्राफी के स्टूडेंट्स ही रहे हैं आप, right? That should not be disturbed. If ozone layers are being disturbed, then lot of sickness and lot of bad thing happens in bad thing happens means आपका health is degrading day by day. Ozone layers disturb हो जाए तो cancer and other things can happen in the to the people. Ozone layer से कैंसर भी हो सकता है, चीजें डिस्टर्ब कर दिया जाए तो ओजोन लेयर को डिस्टर्ब नहीं करना चाहिए. These are the filter against the sun rays, filter against the sun rays. So protecting the ozone layer, minimizing air and water pollution. During the lockdown, water was absolutely pure in the Ganga, Jamuna, and other rivers because factories were closed. Waters were absolutely purified automatically and by nature, naturally. Right? So air pollution was absolutely at the minimum level. No water air pollution, no water pollution during the this lockdown. So we should think about this. Air and water pollution should be minimized. Maintaining the green cover by planting new trees. We should maintain the green cover. We should plant the trees so that pure oxygen, pure air should be there to breathe in. Right? New trees and preventing cutting down of forest, maintaining the green cover by planting new trees and preventing cutting down of forests, maintaining the ecological balance, right, are there, and things are essential for all of us. Maintain the ecological balance. These are the basic things, we should think about it. And if we think about it, the nature will also think about us. They represent the common good, and we must act to protect ourselves as well as for the future. We must act to ourselves as well as for the future generation who are entitled to inherit the safe and clean world without which they cannot lead a reasonably good life. So, यदि हम इनको ध्यान नहीं रखेंगे, हमारे अधिकार होते हुए भी, then we will not be able to lead a good life, right? So, so they represent the common good, and we must act to protect ourselves as well as the future generation who are entitled to inherit a safe and clean world without which they cannot lead a good life. So, यदि हमारा future generation are unable to breathe in a proper air, breathe in a good atmosphere, then it will not be good. We will not be able to inherit a safe and clean world to this. Right. Secondly, they require that I respect the rights of others. It's very important. It's very important, you know. Um, mm,